And we today have special guests that we want to introduce you to. And you guys are familiar with the fact that we have our certified professional program, and we have today one of our certified professionals from 25 and one of our in the works certified professionals, which we're confident about that it for 2026. We just got back from our week long time together in San Antonio. So we are really, feeling kind of invigorated and ready to go. But we have the two of them on for a reason why we have them together, and because they, like Jesse and I, are a team. They have known each other for a while and are working on something special. And I think we're going to start off. Let's start with Destiny first, since you are our class of 25. So we have Destiny Miller and Laura Parker. And so, Destiny, why don't you talk a little bit about how you got to positive reinforcement, and then we'll kind of talk about how
And
you
quick,
guys met.
Before you start, Destiny, if you're wondering why it says Destiny Miller SKECP, it's because she is a certified professional, as Shawna says, and that's what that stands for, certified professional.
Shawna Karrasch, Equine, certified professional.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead,
Super
Destiny.
exciting. Right.
Hello. So I started doing positive reinforcement back in 2020. I had one of my mares come back into my life that was at the time not competing anymore, but I still wanted to find something to work with her on for the connection piece. And I came across, ironically, one of the really older podcasts from previous to the SKE group and started there. And so I also had my young mare in training, and she started to really struggle with the performance work and just wasn't enjoying anything we were doing together anymore. And that led to really deep diving into the science and never really looked back.
That's excellent. Isn't it quite common that a horse, a lot of times, is the one that it pushes us, out of our familiar comfort zone, and think,
Absolutely.
so grateful for them.
That's how I wound up in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Edeline for
black mare with
Addie.
Yep.
Yes, Addie and Eddie. That's Destiny's horse's Eddie, and then Addie is the one that, as
Eddie.
history goes,
We don't let her call her Eddie.
yes, we do. It's cute.
Okay, Laura.
Hi. So I came into positive reinforcement a little bit behind Destiny, probably about 2022 was when I first started adding some structure to it. I was in North Carolina working with sort of like rehab cases, essentially, horses that were kind of quirky or difficult or sort of had this failure to thrive or failure to perform at times. And I was using positive reinforcement, not really knowing what it was called. I was starting to implement a different way of working with the horses, and I called Destiny and we were kind of brainstorming, and she said, well, what are you doing? And I sort of told her, and she goes, well, you're never going to believe this, but that's actually a whole thing, with a lot of science behind it. And at the time I was really studying the horse's body, and as you get into the body and the nervous system, you realize that, the brain and the body are one thing and they both have to be functional. Um, and Destiny was kind of, suggested that I watch some of the SKE videos and get involved in the community. And I just really felt very welcomed and very, I guess, relieved to find that this was an established way of working with the horses. And there was science and there were people that were doing it in a structured way and sharing that information with each other. So that's sort of how I got here. And I did keep up with Destiny and sort of followed her as she went through the certification process with you all last year. And I said, well, I want to do that too. That sounds really great. And I have been very glad to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys have known each other a long time, right?
Yes. Since we were in
2009, 2008.
And how'd you
Gosh,
meet?
Middle school. Awful time just in life in general. But I'd moved from Virginia. I was going to boarding school in Virginia and had moved back to Florida with my horses, and we were boarding at the same barn together. And so we were doing group lessons and stuff together, and kind of went up the ranks from starting out in like the 0.80s and 2.6 hunters up through the meter 10 plus stuff. Also did some eventing, some dressage, all of it. A
Yeah.
little bit of everything.
We just
Okay.
sort of glommed on to each other, I think. It was one of those sort of weird things that just through life happens, and you're like, this person has just been a very constant, um, positive thing in my life for a long time now, and we just keep going with it. So
And you
Yeah.
two complement each other really nicely
Mhm.
too. I kind of feel like it's like Jesse and I in that way that we kind of have different strengths that we both bring to the table that help to kind of make us whole. And I kind of feel like you guys do that too a bit.
Mhm.
You're just
For sure.
really a good fit together. We quite happy to have you both and such good, examples of ways to do things.
Okay, so why don't you guys talk about what you're developing and what you're doing with the Horses First Horse Show?
And this is super exciting, you guys listening. You
yeah,
guys talk.
yeah, we think it's super exciting. I think with both of us kind of coming up together in the horse show world, when we got to R plus or positive reinforcement, we really loved the interactions with the horses. But there were a lot of things that I think we both appreciated about the competitive industry or the performance industry. A lot of the structure and the community and sort of the goal setting and having something to work towards with the horses. Um, and then we noticed that there wasn't really anything available for specifically positive reinforcement. And we would call each other and say, oh gosh, you know, what would that even look like? And boy, we can't wait to see when someone starts that. And here we are. So we brainstormed a lot, and I think it was just a lot of our own noticing sort of that was something that we were both sort of hoping would exist in the world, and thinking about, okay, well, this piece of that, could fit here, and it could be structured like this. And then we started talking to other people, other professionals in the industry, other people that were doing R plus, and um, thought, well, let's give it a go. And it's going.
I think one of
It's
the big things for me, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, before I moved from Florida to Washington, I had a 3-year-old or coming 4-year-old. He was just shy of 4 that we took to his first horse show where he saw his first like course of cross rails and did the whole thing. And we were already doing primarily positive reinforcement with him. And I've started quite a few babies and taken probably a couple dozen to their first horse shows over fences. And the experience shift from all of these other prior experiences to taking him, who at that point had never even been off property. Like we hadn't schooled him off property or ridden him off property before. So he's in a brand new place, brand new environment, not even used to riding other horses in the ring. And we're able to go into warm up and like jump across rail, click treat, jump across rail, click treat. And like I felt a little silly, but I was also like really proud to be doing it. This is a really well-bred, really nice horse with a lovely owner. Um, and I could tell, like, even though we started out nervous, he settled into it so much quicker. And like what you would normally have at the end of a really long weekend of a young horse just feeling maybe settled more on like the defeated side of things if it's not done well, or they just kind of give in. It was more like he came out on Sunday and was like ready to go try again. Like he was excited to see what was next. And so like that really just sparked a big thing for me of like, well, what if we can create an environment where the horses are genuinely happy to be competing and showing, and what could that look like versus just compliant or happy enough, but like really wanting to participate.
I think that is really excellent. And you really tapped into something that I think a lot of people really underestimate how traumatic it can be for a horse to go to their first horse show if they, when you really come from that place of confidence and working in the parasympathetic state, the calm state, and going and looking at it as opposed to being a little, kind of triggered to get, ready, that they go in and kind of can look at it with curiosity and interest and is stimulating in a good way as opposed to being overwhelmed and that kind of stranger danger to the new environment. So I think that people underestimate how much it probably is a struggle for them for a lot of horses, but also how much we can do to help them. That people tend to separate and think positive reinforcement is for tricks or for husbandry stuff, veterinary stuff, but
Right.
not for the real stuff. And I think it's really such a fabulous idea for a way to have help people in a systematic way work through it, and have goals that they can work with like-minded people, and getting bigger as it grows. But also, you guys have done a really fabulous job of paying attention to a lot of the details.
Mhm.
As we go through and look at it, it's really thoughtful and good, and
Mhm.
and it's super exciting.
We were looking at it closely today, because we're going to be making videos for it, as a kind of
Demo kind of.
example, yeah, example videos. So it is really thoughtfully done.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yep.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you,
the
guys.
fact that it's online. I mean, right now it's online. I mean, I don't know if do you guys have plans for it to be like in person ever at all?
Nothing.
It,
Yes, absolutely. Like that is the end goal, I think, for sure. We wanted to start online to make it as accessible as possible because of that big jump, like
Yeah.
Shauna and Destiny were talking about. When you go from working with the horses at home, taking them to a new environment, there is a lot more pressure, both on the horse and the human. And recognizing that even trailering, like all of the steps to get to a physical horse show can be kind of
Mhm.
daunting for a lot of
Mhm.
horses and even a lot of people.
Mhm.
So that was one of the big reasons we put it online to start was, designing intro classes that are very accessible for a variety of setups for different situations and to sort of give a little bit of a bridge into the in-person shows. But ideally, yes, we would love to do some in-person shows.
I would love to see some classes that are supported, and yeah, you can dream. But I think
Hmm.
this is where it starts. 30 some years ago, I would just think, well, one day, maybe more than me, will know what positive reinforcement is. And now we do. So those dreams, the way it happens is you get out and do it. And I think it's a really exciting proposition. And I think both of you, I know both of you are such an asset already to the positive reinforcement horse movement, in the education, in the understanding, in the walking the talk. And we are really, really excited to see where this continues to grow, and where you both grow, not just with this, but in general. It's, being part of it and having you part of the family is really, really an honor for us.
Yeah. What would you say if, like, has anybody ever asked you if there are issues with bringing competition into the positive reinforcement?
yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's always going to be a piece of it, but I think it's all in your mindset around it. And the same with traditional horse shows. Historically, they started out as a way for us to test where we're at and kind of put ourselves to the challenge in a sense of what do I need to go home and improve on? Like you should be doing that training and that work at home. And this is just a demonstration to be able to take back that information to better yourself. So it is what you make it, right? So
Yeah.
hopefully it's an opportunity more so to keep us challenged in a good way and keep things interesting for our horses, make things fun, an opportunity to bring more community together, and to just keep building on our skills and seeing where we can go, both as like riders, trainers, owners, horses, everything.
Yeah. Can you guys explain the classes a little bit? Like, what do you have so far? Where does it look like it's going in the future? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so far we have two classes that we will be sort of debuting with our first show that will be opening for entries May 15th of this year. They are introductory classes that focus on a few of the fundamentals of positive reinforcement training. So things like a horse being able to stand quietly, moving through the liberty leading, targeting, and some turns and other things that seem pretty basic, but at their core, they're really important that we have those as a, you know, underlying foundation. So it's just the two for now that will kind of be showcasing, I guess, initially. And as we build, we're going to start adding and kind of
Right.
seeing how that develops over time, and hope to have some under saddle classes eventually as well.
Yeah, which is a really smart way to do it, because I think it lets people really grasp what it is that you're doing and lets them be like, kind of absorb it, and then see what they think about it before they get, getting in too deep about it. The other thing is that the foundation pieces that we talk about, like we have what I know you guys know this, but we have what we consider there to be 7 foundation or building block behaviors of positive reinforcement. And when you have those super solid, we feel like you can take positive reinforcement wherever else you want to go after that. And this is sort of starting off with those things, not obviously all in the first 2 classes, but it is, I think a lot of times people think they have those behaviors solid, but those behaviors truly aren't solid until you put them to the test like this. And I love that part of the challenge of this. It's like, oh, how precise can I be with this? And oh, if I just maneuver my timing a little bit, wow, that got a whole lot better. So I think that's really fun. And that's where I feel like this is so valuable. And like you said, the community aspect of it too is just going to be huge.
And you don't go,
Absolutely.
if somebody starts a horse show, they don't go, well, let's just start with Grand Prix. You know what I mean? You realize everybody needs to kind of get through it a bit, and that those foundation pieces are something that you go back to over and over. I think it's great. And people that really enjoy and appreciate positive reinforcement, we are into it. You know what I mean? We love those little pieces and the demonstrating the simple things, and yet we know we can do the advanced things too. So it's nice that they always have to start at the beginning and be
Mhm.
sure that those parts are solid.
Right. And that's something we plan to keep in there too. So the goal or the thought process now is like that those pieces will be required at least to start. So like before you progress to under saddle work
Hmm.
or over fences or wherever it goes, to make sure that there really is a genuine understanding for both horse and handler on those fundamental basics, because they're not always as easy as they look. I think we're all guilty of like, you look at the test and you're like, oh, it's 8 movements, right? And it's all in the walk. Easy, piece of cake. And I could take
Yeah.
my most advanced horse that's doing positive reinforcement, and we struggled because she's a busy girl and she wants to go do things. And she's like, what do you mean I have to stand quietly next to this target that I really want to touch? And it's humbling in the best way, and hopefully opening up a lot of accessibility too. Like, I know we've been extremely blessed in being able to have such like one-on-one time with both of you. I know that's not the case for everybody, and so this gives the opportunity to get constructive feedback from those at the top of, at least experience wise, like the top of the level, or anyways, without necessarily large financial investment when they're
Yeah.
not able. So just opening up that accessibility, like making things
Yeah.
as
And the fact
affordable as
that,
possible for people.
it is online, at least at this point. I mean, hopefully it'll always be, I don't know if you plan to do
Yeah,
both
I
online
think
and in
so.
person. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think that's really cool because there's so many people who can't, they don't have a trailer, or they can't,
right.
but, or maybe they just don't like all the stress that comes of hauling their
Mhm.
horse.
Absolutely.
And this just gives them another option to be involved and to have new challenges, fun challenges, without all that added stress. I get stressed just thinking about it. One of my least favorite things to do is taking horses somewhere. I love it once I'm
Mhm.
there, but like the stress of loading, I've had some issues happen in the past in my former life that I have
Yeah.
some great PTSD with. So being able to do that at home, it
Mhm.
just feels like for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it makes it simple. And there's people that are just in pockets, where they're out far from any population of positive reinforcement people. So it gives them a chance to
Right.
also connect and do this. And I think starting
For
with
sure.
the kind of prerequisite courses and always having them is important, just like any education or, a continuum of learning.
Mhm.
We need to make sure that those basics are worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been
So
doing a fabulous job with it,
So
really.
do you guys have a date on that first show?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
no, the
Yeah.
entries
Entries
were
start, yeah,
May
May
5th.
15th and close the 30th.
Okay, so they've got 2 weeks essentially to get them in.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
Shawna and I are judging that one.
Yay. Look out.
So,
Look out.
We're so excited. Yeah.
I'm
And that's
so mean.
the judging criteria was something we were excited about too, because it is scored similarly to a dressage test for anyone familiar with how that works. So you get all of the movements are broken down. There's descriptors of sort of what the movement is and what what the judges are looking for essentially. So it's very transparent. We don't want to be like, gotcha, you didn't know what to expect. So we hope that it's, very kind of intuitive when you read the test and can say like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand what the goal is here. And there is a lot of emphasis on the emotional state of the horse. So that goes as part of the judging criteria as well.
which we love.
And yeah, that was something we were pretty excited about. So it's,
Mhm.
yeah, hopefully still
Because emotional
familiar.
states are not looked at too much in the normal horse show. So
Mm-mm.
this is a new thing and a game changer because it's
I
important.
think
Yep.
that'll be the
Oh.
big shift and the big difference
Yeah.
is
And if you were to judge between somebody who did it perfect with tension and somebody who did a little sloppier with relaxation, the relaxation's gonna
Mhm.
be a stronger asset than. So
for
I
sure.
love that. That
And that's why that relaxation is so for again those familiar with dressage is one of our main coefficients. So that's going to have a bigger impact in your overall score.
yeah,
Mm.
excellent.
Well, excellent. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add?
It just if anybody wants more information or has any feedback on anything that we're posting, we would love to answer questions or hear from anybody that has, um, you know, any feedback at all throughout the process. Because I don't think either of us really woke up one morning and said, I'm going to start a horse show, but we're happy to be here. Very happy to be here, but it is something we hope that will evolve with time. And if, again, questions, anything like that, please feel free to reach out to us on the Horse First Horse Show or Show Series, sorry, Horse First Show Series page on Facebook. It's probably the easiest way to get in touch with either of us.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, you guys. We're super excited and I just really, really proud of you guys.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you guys.
Well, bye for now, everybody.